As you look back, obviously you'd hope this year Cater and Storm would be two key pieces. With Storm, any chance of return, or is he done for the year?
I'm not sure on that. Actually, I'd have to defer that to Mike on that one. I'm guessing he's done for the year just based on where we are, but I
And why didn't it, in his brief time, maybe come together for him this year in the limited opportunities he had in between multiple injuries?
yeah, I think he would have played fine. I would have thought it did come or would have come together. So wouldn't agree with the first half of the question. How about that?
I say that only in the sense that he allowed most of his targets to be caught. Uh,
Not sure the sample size is accurate, you know, enough to judge there.
sure.
Your guys' performance last week, was it? You're facing an elite passing game there. Was it the elite passing game, or you guys should have been better? I mean, is there a certain level of understanding? Okay, it was a little bit rough because of who we were facing.
It's like we always look at it from our perspective and what could we have done better. And every time something happens, like we own our portion of it. Certainly, good teams with good players present good matchup issues, and their guys make plays, and that's what they should do, and that's their job too. But I mean, pretty much every time they make a play, we got a reason it shouldn't have happened, and that's what we try to focus on. Yeah.
What are the traits that you've seen in Dante Trader that gave you guys the belief in him to fill in that role that Minka had been playing so well?
It trades very sharp mentally, first off, for a rook. Goes out, plays really hard, plays quickly, trusts what he sees, keys and diagnoses well, and pulls the trigger. So I think he'll do a good job in that role.
Another big receiver matchup this week. What did you see that worked well against T and Jamar that you believe can work against Evans and Abuka?
Every week's so different. You know, the offensive scheme's different, so how you got to plan for them is different. So I wouldn't necessarily make cross comparisons between last week and this week. So we just try to approach this one individually.
If you're asked ultimately by the front office, where do you think Jason Marshall is best suited? What position? You would say what?
He's a DB. Yeah, he's done a good job. He showed the ability to play both this year, and I feel comfortable with his ability to do that.
When he arrived here, had you all always thought we could explore this nickel thing, or was there something he showed over May and early June that led to that?
Yeah, to be honest, I hadn't considered that. I just was excited about him as an outside player. And then when our injuries started to pile up there, he had shown enough of a skill set that I thought he would be able to transition in and do that. It wasn't initially in my head, at least. I can't speak for everyone, but when he first got here, that my thought was that he was going to be outside only.
And then one last thing, he mentioned to me last week that he needs to be more physical. Is that something that you and Coach Arujo have mentioned to him? Has that been talking point?
Yeah, in general, yes. You know, when we got transitions from outside to inside, one of the first pieces of that is more the nickel at times can be a linebacker, so that the physical side of it and the box run fits and all that stuff are almost a little bit unique to that position, and that was probably one of the transition phases that was the most foreign to him. So that was certainly something we encouraged, which he's done a great job with. That's just something, just was probably a little bit unusual for him at first.
Still 2 games left, but how would you assess the seasons of Ashton Davis and Fatu Melifanu, or maybe 15/17 of the season that they've had?
Well, they're going to have 2 great games here coming up, so we feel really good about that. In general, I was happy with those guys. Obviously, we brought both of those guys in the offseason and expected them to play big roles for us on the back end. I thought both those guys did that. I thought they did a great job grasping the defense and what we were trying to get done. I thought they really took leadership roles, and I was really happy and glad both those guys were here, and I have enjoyed my time with both of them.
We know Minka is an experienced veteran. What are the 1 or 2 things you miss most when he's not out there on the field?
Certainly his playmaking. Obviously he's made a lot of big plays for us this year. And we got plenty of guys that are good playmakers, but he certainly, I think throughout the year, demonstrated the ability and the knack for big time plays. I mean, just that Saints play comes to mind. You know what I mean? Things like that. Obviously, in addition to that, his calm, his communication, his poise out there, the ability to put out some fire and handle a lot of different matchups and a lot of different assignments. He's a good player, and whenever you're missing a good player, obviously it's tough for the defense.
With Rasul, once he arrives, I guess you never know with veterans who've been in the league for a number of years what they have left. Did you wonder a little bit about that? And how pleasantly surprised were you if you did wonder?
I certainly wasn't sure. You know what I mean? What you're getting just as the corner gets older and everything, you want to see what you got. And you think you get one thing, you're never quite sure. You know what I mean? Everything I heard about him was great, and he was everything I hoped he would be and more. I mean, he's been great.
What makes, I'm going to rephrase the question I tried to ask earlier, what makes Ibuka and Evans so special, I guess?
Yeah, both of them, probably individual reasons, are both so special. Evans, obviously, just from a contested ball standpoint, ball tracking, has been an elite player, elite in one-on-one deep ball situations and all that in his career. Ibuka, obviously, for a young player already, has come out and shown a great understanding of offense and routes and concepts and there's attacking defenses, in addition to his athleticism and speed and hands and all that. So they're both very good players. They just have a little bit unique skill set between the two of them.
Two early throws that T got on Jack, was there anything specifically, any teaching points he could have done better? And did he push off a little bit on that touchdown?
Definitely thought he did, but it didn't matter. They didn't call it, so I guess he didn't, or else they would have called it, I'm sure. But from those, obviously, there are some different coaching points, whether it be at the line of scrimmage or at the catch point. There's a little bit of both of those, which obviously we'll work with him on, and he continues to work out. You know, it's just also a good player right there too, so it's part of that.
I know this league is full of good quarterbacks. That, in a way, can you say that all season you've been building toward these last four, right? The Rodgers, Burrow, Mayfield, and Drake May, and you should be ready. Does that make sense? And could you say that?
The way I think of it is that, like, you're always trying to play your best football in December, you know, and that then leads into January right there. So to me, all season, like every single game is building towards the next game. Like last game is building towards this game. We're constantly trying to stack and get better every single day. So whatever slate of quarterbacks you end up getting at the end of the year, you should be playing your best ball against them.